Good morning. This is the Magic Doctor coming to you from the Ivory Tower. This is the inaugural video for the Ivory Tower series. What we want to do in the Ivory Tower is to have fun with Magic the Gathering, to think about Magic the Gathering differently, to research new ideas, and to disrupt the meta if we can. I'm glad that you've chosen to join with us today, and we're going to start by looking at the Kaladesh Prerelease. The pre-release was held this past weekend, and for many people I'm sure it was an exciting time. I was able to go and participate in a local pre-release event, and I ended up placing second and won a few Kaladesh packs. What I want to do briefly is go through and crack these packs and see what we've got. But before we do that, I want to show you a little bit about how the pre-release turned out for me, the card selection that I got, and how I put that together into my deck. So, as far as cards go, I got some decent cards. Voltaic Brawler was one that I got. I wish I could have used him if I could have been in green. Prophetic Prism, Herald of the Fair, which I did use, but I cut that copy. Quicksmith Genius, Bastion Mastodon, Scrap Heap Scrounger. I really wanted to use him, but I wasn't in black, and I had better 2-drops to do that. Consulate Skygate, that was kept out in case I had a bunch of flyers. I ended up not using that. A couple of the Narnum Cobras, but I wasn't able to be in green. Demolish, Giant Spectacle, Start Your Engines, and Cathartic Reunion were all decent red cards that didn't make the cut. Inspired Charge, here's the lands. The Fancy Camel and the Thriving Ibex, or Goat, didn't make it. Also, the Malphus Doorbuster and the Wayward Giant both just didn't make the cut. Self-Assembler, I wanted to play just because it's not bad, but I had better 5-drops that I wanted to keep in. A couple of the Glass Blowers, Puzzle Knot, they didn't make it. Now, the Decoction module would have been good, but I just didn't. I had better 2-drops. My promo was the Dynavolt Tower, and then I pulled the Dynavolt Tower, so I really was hoping I could have a use for that, but I just could not find one. Hazardous Conditions would have been good, but I was in neither green nor black. Select for Inspection, Dramatic Reversal, Glimmer of Genius, Failed Inspection, Malfunction, Revolutionary Rebuff, Aether Trade Winds, Thriving Turtle, Glint Nest Crane. I was hoping to be able to play blue when I pulled the Crane, but I just did not have it. The Affinity Serpent, Gear Seeker Serpent, High Tide Hermit Windrake, and Padim Council of Innovation. Again, I would have loved to have been able to go in blue, but I just didn't think I had strong enough blue cards. For black, Malphist Squad, Aetherborn Marauder, Thriving Rats, Night Market Lookout, Dukara Scavenger, Prakata Club Security, Tidy Conclusion, 2 of those, Fortuitous Find, Rush of Vitality, and Harsh Security. Again, black had some nice things, but it just didn't seem to have enough. And I was really surprised with the lack of green that I got. Commencement of Festivities, which was would not have been bad as a combat trip. Larger Than Life would have been good, and 2 takedowns to really deal with some flyers. I liked that when I saw it, but it just didn't make the 3 takedowns, but it didn't make the cut. And the issue with green that I had was I got 2 green creatures, Sage of Shahili's Claim and Wily Bandar. And so both of them I would have been glad to play, but those are the only green creatures I got, so I wasn't able to get into green. And then the rare green I got was Dubious Challenge, which wouldn't have been very good, I don't believe. Creeping Mold and Ornamental Courage, not bad cards, but just not enough to really do it for me and to be able to make the cut. to be able to play green. And green was just very, very weak in the packs that I drew. But here's what I did have. I sleeved it up in some white sleeves here. I think I've already taken all the land out. Pyromancer's Goggles. Now this was pretty good when I was able to get it in. First drop, that was nice, and when you could drop an Artificer and he automatically attached the goggles, that was good. It was a little slow for me to drop it and then have the extra mana to be able to equip it early game. So often it sat on the board and just waited until I could get enough free mana where I didn't need to bring a creature into play to be able to equip the goggles. But it worked pretty good when I was able to get them in. This guy worked out pretty nice, Reckless Fireweaver. He came in as he should. He was able to do some blocking of some small creatures, and since I was artifact heavy, he actually helped push me over the top a couple of times, getting some damage in. Propeller Pioneer, I've got a couple of those. I think, is it just two, maybe two Propeller Pioneers. I really liked this guy. It was helpful. I love the Fabricate option, that you can either give them the counter or bring the servo. That really helped. When I had the Fireweaver out, I could bring in the servo and get a damage in and also get a blocker. So that was a good, very good card in the game. Now this guy won me my final game, 9th Bridge Patrol. I got him out on turn 2, and then by using the Fabricate ability from these, I would bring in servos with the intention of those servos being blockers for some of the big green creatures that I was playing. And this guy got bigger. He ended up being a 7/7 or an 8/8, I believe, and he was the reason I won the last match, which put me into second in the pre-release. So 9th Bridge Patrol really worked out well. Got a Veteran Motorist, and he was nice. The Scry ability was very helpful. I didn't get to I didn't have a whole lot of vehicles, but for a 3/1 2-drop for red and white, allowing me to scry 2 and be able to make sure I got some land drops that I needed was good. And when I was able to crew a vehicle, plussing the vehicle +1/+1 was very good. There were a couple times he was able to come and help me out that way. Foundry Inspector, I think I like this card. He helped a little bit in the pre-release, but where this is going to shine is when we brew up our artifact decks. Those are going to be nice with that reduction. Sky Skiff, I got one of, and I played it, and I didn't get to use it as much as I'd hoped, but it was a good card to have. This card did some work too, and I got to play it a lot. Servo Exhibition, bringing in 2 of the little servo artifact tokens, and those tokens pumped up our 9th Bridge Patrol and helped close out that game, so that was good. Ruinous Gremlin was helpful. I was able to do some artifact removal with him. Other than that, he was a threat when he was on the board. Revoke Privileges, I've got a couple of those. I think 2 copies of Revoke Privileges in the deck. That really worked out well. As far as removal, you know that's good, and it's removal, and you can't crew vehicles, and that was important, obviously. One deck I played, the final deck, had several very good vehicles, and they worked out well for them, and I just was able to get enough removal like that, like the Revoke Privileges and Harnessed Lightning, where I was able to take out the guys he was wanting to crew his vehicles, so his vehicles sat on the battlefield. This was excellent, as everybody was saying it would be excellent. For removal, it's 3 damage at least, and I did have one other time where I was able to use it for 5 damage because my one other energy creature that I was able to play had some energy on the board, and it helped me wipe out a big guy. This was a good card too, Whirler Maker, and so it's 3, and you spend 4 generic mana and create a colorless 1/1 flying Thopter with the Fireweaver in play. That was a way to keep putting damage on the board and blockers. And this won me a game or 2, and it was very helpful as instant token creation. Very good. All right, Consul's Side Guard, Shield Guard rather. He did well when I was able to get him out. He's a hefty little body, and he provided the energy that I needed to get through with that harnessed lightning. So he helped. I wasn't really excited to see him all that much. I didn't get to attack with him very often because he was a target once he came on the board. And then the big fatty from the pack, from the packs I got, was the Combustible Gear Hulk. He did good. When I was able to get him into the game, it was very helpful. The first time I played this card, I was at 6 and my opponent was at, I think it was at 15. Maybe he was at 16. But I played my Gear Hulk after being starved for land, played the Gear Hulk, and he chose to have and not let me draw the cards, but put the 3 cards in the graveyard. Well, the 3 cards that went in the graveyard each had 3 mana cost, 3 converted mana cost. So he took 9 damage, and he came down to 7. I think I was at 6. So he had a big advantage. He ended up winning the game because the Gear Hulk didn't win me the game, but it made the game close, and then he was able to pull it out just because I couldn't get any board state. My first round, I lost the first 2 games, and then I came back and won out from there. But the Gear Hulk almost got me the second game back. So I like the Gear Hulk, but he just doesn't. He does not a winner. He doesn't necessarily win the game for you, but he certainly does. In other games, he gave me the card advantage, which then pushed me over the top. So I like the Gear Hulk. I think the Gear Hulks are going to be a nice slot. I was fortunate to pull one. I'm excited about that. Workshop Assistant. I hoped he would be better, but I did not have as many artifacts as I needed. I was able to trigger his ability only once or twice and get a creature back. So he was nice, but it didn't work out as well as I wanted. And I was able to get back one time the Bomat Courier. Now this guy is not bad, but he's not that great. He didn't work out as great in this deck. He may work out, I think, in some mono red where you're dumping your hand quick. This guy's going to be really good. But in the sealed, in the way that it played out, I was able to get some card advantage from him occasionally, but usually I wasn't able to, just because the format kind of stalled, and I wasn't able to empty my hand where I felt good trading. You know, I didn't want to discard more cards than I got from him. So, but nice card. I was glad I got it. He actually got some damage in for me. Salivating Gremlins. This guy did a lot of work. And that along with all of the different artifact, with Fabricate, with the Servo Exhibition, all of those things pumped him and gave him trample, and that worked out well for the game. I like that. Renegade Tactics, I swapped that in. I originally had in the artifact that lets you fix your mana and draw a card, and I swapped this out after the first game, and then I kept it. And it was just a little better to have the instant speed and to get rid of a blocker and to cycle, make it as a cantrip, get a card. So that was good. The Aradara Express, nice vehicle. Crewing 4 was not as easy as I'd hoped it would be, but it was a nice vehicle when it did get down, and when I was able to crew it, it did a lot of work, and it's just a big vehicle. An 8/6 for 5 is great. Crew 4 is a little bit of an option. So that was good. The Herald of the Fair, not bad. I had an extra one, but I did run one, and he helped out some. He's a big enough body to be a threat, but his cost was a little hard for me on some occasions. Built to Smash, love it. Red Giant Growth, plus if artifacts get trample, that's sweet. This is definitely going to have a place all over the place. That's a nice card. Fragmentize, so glad to see this, to get rid of enchantments. I think I destroyed as many enchantments as artifacts with Fragmentize. Now I wanted to use it more often than I could because I only had a 1 of, but it was certainly a good card. Impeccable timing, awesome, nice, great combat trick. I had it used on me more than I was able to use it, but I was able to use it some. Very good. Like the card, of course, for limited formats, it's going to be much better. Perhaps Constructed will find something for it, but anyway, it's a good card, worked out there. And then the Whipsweaver Angel. I did not cast the Whipsweaver Angel once. Didn't even draw it, I don't believe. Well, I did draw it, but I wasn't able to cast it. But I like the card. It would have worked out well with the Gear Hulk and maybe with some of the Fabricate creatures, but I wasn't able to play with it. So it worked out all right. I ended up going 0-2 the first round, and then I won the other rounds. I may have swept one of the other rounds, but that was it. So anyway, now it's time to get into the winnings, the spoils of the tournament. So 6 Kaladesh packs right here. Let me see if they're all on the board. 6 Kaladesh packs, and we are the Monday before, or the Monday after the pre-release. So I'm going to crack these for us so we can see what we've got in them, and we can enjoy that together. All right, first of all, Aether Trade Winds, Terror of the Fairgrounds, Thriving Ibex, I like the goats, Thriving Turtle, Thriving Rhino, this would have been a good pack to open the other night, Subtle Strike, Sky Skiff, I would have loved to have this pack, Propeller Pioneer, very nice, Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot, Salivating Gremlins. All right, now to the uncommons. Bomat Bizarre Barge. That would have been a good one to have. Creeping Mold. Not bad in this deck. Consulate Surveillance, or in this format rather. When the Consulate Surveillance enters the battlefield, you get 4 energy counters, and then you can prevent damage. So it's a circle of protection, kind of. And then Confiscation Coup. That's our rare. So control magic with energy. All right. That's the first pack. Nothing really exciting. Would have been a nice pack to have in limited, in the sealed. All right, here's our 9th Bridge Patrol. He worked well. High Tide Hermit, Built to Smash, Aerobatic Maneuver, Thriving Rhino. If I'd opened these 2 packs, I definitely would have been in green. Lawless Broker, Workshop Assistant, Glint Sleeve Artisan. I did see him a little bit, and I would have liked to have had him. Eager Construct, Dukara Peafowl. All right, now we're into the uncommons. Make Obsolete. This would have been a very good card to have. Aerial Responder. I would have played this guy in a heartbeat. Flying Vigilance, Lifelink for 3. And a 2/3. That would have been a great card to have. Janjit Security. You can tap or untap for energy. 3 casting cost, 2/3. Not too bad. Fateful Showdown. So this would have been an interesting card to have for red, but that's our rare. Okay, we got a Construct Token and a Forest. Next pack. Terror of the Fairgrounds. There we go. Another Ibex. Select for Inspection. Cathartic Reunion. Ornamental Courage. Live Fast. This was popular. Windrake. Dund Operative. Prakata Pillarbug, and this one came out. Fortunately I was able to remove it, but lifelink would have been a big deal. Pima Outrider, I didn't see him yesterday, or her. Iron League Steed. This is our first uncommon. I did see that, and he was a difficult, well, somebody you had to pay attention to there. Our Essence Extraction, this was used several times. Very good card, particularly in limited, but it was a very good card. And then Disappearing Act. Did not see that. Oh, okay. Red, blue, Fast Land. Not bad, not bad to pull as your rare. Okay. Next pack. So, just so everybody can see, Spire, Bluff, Canal. Red, blue. Everybody's looking for those, I believe. Okay, Nimble Innovator. Hijack. Sky Swirl Harrier. Fortuitous Find, Wild Wanderer. Gave me a little bit of trouble in the first round. Larger Than Life, Bastion Mastodon. He came out very good card. I would have played him had I got him. Chief of the Foundry. Okay, this is nice. Of course, a Lord for artifacts. That's sweet. Consul's Shield Guard. We've already seen him. Another Disappearing Act. Oh, and another Combustible Gear Hulk. Look at that. So pulling 2 Combustible Gear Hulks from the pre-release. That's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. All right, Failed Inspection, Demolish, Live Fast, Ornamental Courage, Impeccable Timing, Fire Forger's Puzzle Knot, Curio Vendor, Chandra's Pyrohelix, Cogworker's Puzzle Knot, Renegade Freighter, Underhanded Designs is our first uncommon. And so this is whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Pay 1 in a black. Sacrifice Underhanded Designs. Destroy target creature. Activate this ability only if you control 2 or more artifacts. Trusty Companion. This would have been a good card to see. Experimental Aviator. This would be Thopter Generation, if we had that. Rashimi, Eternity's Crafter. Okay, so our legendary elf druid, 2 mythics in a row. That's pretty cool. So whenever you cast your first spell each turn, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card with a converted mana cost less than that spell's, you may cost it without paying its mana cost. If you don't cast the revealed card, put it into your hand. So that's pretty sweet. Second mythic anyway is kind of cool. Another Thopter token. All right, and the final pack. Pulling 2 mythics probably means we won't have another one. So, but we can hope. Herald of the Fair, High Tide Hermit, Built to Smash, Fragmentize, Kujar Seed Sculptor, Ambitious Aetherborn, Attune with Aether, Thriving Rats, Prakata Pillarbug, Peem Outrider, Engineered Might. Choose 1. Target creature gets 5/5, +5/+5 till and trample till end of turn, or choose the other one. Creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain vigilance till the end of turn. And it's 5 converted mana cost, 1 green, 1 white. Not bad. Blossoming Defense. This is almost giant growth, but it gives hexproof, so that's kind of neat. Snare Thopter. This would have been a good one to get for sure. And then we get Kambal, Consul of Allocation, as our legendary Human Advisor 2/3 rare. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, that player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life for a black, a white, and a colorless, or I'm sorry, a generic. So there we go. Well, that's the take from the tournament, from the pre-release tournament. I've enjoyed making the video, and hopefully this will be one in many videos along the line where we look at the meta, we look at how to build, we brew, and we come up with ideas to disrupt the meta, to have fun, and to do research and bring new aspects to the game. I hope you'll join me as we do this. I'd like you to like and subscribe to the video, and look for blog updates at rethinkingmtg.blogspot.com. Have a great time, and keep brewing.